all things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
Let's also talk about the elephant in the room. I had a stroke. He's never let me forget that. And I might miss some words during this debate, mush two words together, but it knocked me down, but I'm going to keep coming back up. And this campaign is all about, to me, is about fighting for everyone in Pennsylvania that ever got knocked down, that needs to get back up, and fighting for all forgotten communities all across Pennsylvania that also got knocked down.
Okay, so this is the thing. The character and integrity of John Fetterman is real, okay? Yes, he has an issue with his speech after 5 months post-stroke. I mean, it's incredible that he's even running. It's incredible that he's able. It's incredible that his doctors say he's okay. Yes, he does have auditory processing issues. Yes, he does have some speech impediments. But I would rather have a guy with character and integrity with an auditory processing disorder than I would somebody who can't process the truth or reality. I mean, Dr. Oz has a reality processing disorder. He doesn't even, acknowledge that he spent 20 years or so on the TV trying to tell us women who are home folding laundry or raising kids or, trying to work from home watching his show that we could lose weight by sucking on a green coffee bean or taking some supplement that never, ever produced the results. I don't understand why he's still in denial about the truth of his career and the path that he chose for himself. That is the path Dr. Oz chose for himself. The path that Fetterman chose for himself, both of them graduated from Harvard, okay, was that he moved in to a distressed community known as Braddock that had about 1,700 people left in it, and decided that he was going to revitalize this community. I said that his parents gave him $500,000. That's wrong. They gave him $50,000. I added a zero because maybe I have a processing problem. Okay, I glanced down and said it wrong. So I don't know what that means about me, but yeah, his family gave him $50,000. And that year he used that $50,000 to buy an old red brick church in Braddock. And he decided that that would become the hub of the community. That would be the vibrant community hub where recreational and educational programs for kids and young adults could occur. And he decided to start a GED program. That is what he did with his time. He decided to teach kids how to finish their high school diplomas. And that was the beginning of Fetterman's approach to revitalizing Braddock. Okay? And over the next few years, Fetterman, as mayor, was able to draw attention to this little town and money to this little blighted area of Pennsylvania. And Rolling Stone decided to cover it. And Rolling Stone did a report, an article on John Fetterman. And that is how John Fetterman was able to attract Levi Strauss and Company to come to Braddock. They saw his gritty community as an ideal setting for a campaign that they were about to launch called Ready to Work. It was an ad campaign for Levi's. And when Fetterman was talking to Levi's actually started, saying, what would it cost to come into your town? He said, okay, well, here's what you have to do. You have to have local people star in these commercials, and you have to pay them, okay, union scale. And we also want a generous donation from Levi Strauss to our nonprofit so that we can continue the work. Then he got booked on the Colbert Report. And that's how people started to understand that he was this guy that, wore sweats, and he was very low key. Nobody could believe, he was 6'8". He is 6'8". Nobody could believe, that he had done any of this, that he had decided that that was what he was going to use his Harvard degree to promote, that this is where he was going to live. And he didn't just live there for a few years. He still lives there. It's been 20 some odd years that he's been in Braddock. He was reelected to be the mayor of Braddock 3 times. 3 times. They kept reelecting him. Levi Strauss gave him the largest donation that his not-for-profit ever received. They gave him $948,001. It was called Braddock Redo, okay? Redo. And that was the largest single donation that they ever got. and he used it to renovate a community center. He turned a vacant, weedy lot into a vegetable farm, okay? And then he started to try to bring down the crime rate in this little town, and he was successful at doing that too. He ran into some money problems. He asked his parents to loan him some more money. They did. He paid it back, which nobody ever wants to say. But this is who he is. This is his character. This is what, and the reason why his family was supporting him, because his father, whose name is Carl Fetterman, he said that he whatever support I provided was to make it possible for him to do this work. I really admired what he was doing with his life. And then he was able to attract donations from Heinz Endowment and Pittsburgh Foundation. And his family had only given him a very small portion of the seed money that, he started with, the $50,000, which, by the way, he paid back. He didn't take a salary. I think he made $150 a year to be the mayor. Okay. And his not-for-profit ended up spending much more money than it received. And they were short $100,000 for like 2 years. Okay. And he made a huge difference in that town. He attracted a brewery to that town. He attracted a restaurateur to that town. He did so much good in this little town where he still freaking lives, where he still toils, where he still works, where he still tries to make something out of nothing. Give me a guy like that with some, speech problems. Give me a guy like that with a physical disability any day over a guy with no integrity, no character, who donates $20 million to himself and votes in another country and doesn't even live in the state that he's trying to run for Senate in. What Fetterman did is not a high glamour thing. What Fetterman did was not chase the money. Fetterman never saw big money come to him. He never saw glamour come to him. There was no money there. There was no glamour there. It was a commitment to make sure that people had some sort of an opportunity to get their education back on track and to fix their town, which is what everybody in Southern Ohio, I lived in Portsmouth, that. And, I lived there for a good 3 years or so. And I know the people of Portsmouth, and I know what they're up against, and I know what they suffer with, and I know how it works there, okay? I understand going to Pentecostal church on Wednesdays. I also understand coming home from the Pentecostal church and beating your wife because you're so wasted on beer and Valium or beer and Oxy now or beer and Roxy. I get it. I understand that community. But to have a guy that actually says, not only am I moving here, but I'm going to stay here until the job is done. I'm going to build a community center. I'm going to build and attract businesses to come here. I'm going to attract a brewery. I'm going to attract, restaurateurs. I'm going to clean the streets. I'm going to get rid of the angry graffiti. I'm going to replace it with, positive things. I'm going to have bicycle shops move here. And I'm going to do it with, all volunteers in a not-for-profit situation. I'm sorry, but yes, he sucked last night on the debate stage. But he's a wonderful human being. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.